if we don't end, this year with gold at 2,100, I'll be pretty surprised.
You'd be pretty surprised.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going.
And where do you think silver will end, Keith?
Thank you to our returning subscribers and guests. Welcome to my Silver and Gold Underdog channel. I have a silver price prediction from Mr. Keith Neumeyer. He was recently interviewed on Stansberry Research by Daniela Cambone. They discussed silver, inflation, the Fed rate hike, and the prices for gold and silver in 2022. It is new, but was recorded just before the Federal Reserve news. So I can share the news that in order to fight inflation that is running at a 40-year high, the Fed on Wednesday raised rates by 75 basis points, which is the largest increase since 1994. So if you like physical metals, the latest news, and some realistic price projections from an industry insider, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss future content. So there's quite a bit of bad news out there, but I have some good news. Silver. It is actually some more First Majestic Silver. Rounds from Keith Neumeyer's company. It's mined in Mexico, refined and minted in America, and sold from their Canadian headquarters and shipped back to me in the USA. Previously this year, I had featured a story that First Majestic had empty shelves, but both Scottsdale Mint for bars and Sunshine Minting for rounds have restocked the shelves. So I placed an order. So First Majestic Silver last year sold a record 349,000 ounces of silver bullion from their online store. They're the only silver miner who has their own in-house brand, and that represents 3% of what the company produces out of the ground from their silver mines. So let's see the silver. So actually, to minimize costs, I bundled an order with a few friends and we got 2 different rounds. So the silver is $27 an ounce. If you're actually a shareholder, there's a way that you can get 50 cents off and order a few times throughout the year. So this is the half ounce in my left and full ounce on the right. So these are back in stock. That's actually a very good deal for half ounces for fractional silver. It's hard to find. So it's definitely not the most expensive silver, but it's not the cheapest, but it's good to support people who support the silver industry. So what does an industry insider such as Keith Neumeyer think about silver, inflation, the rate hikes, and the future movement for the silver and gold prices? Let's hear from Keith Neumeyer as he's interviewed by Daniela Cambone.
We are at the silver reception with one of the stars of the silver space, Keith Neumeyer. He is the CEO of First Majestic. Why do you put together this silver reception with some of the silver miners?
I want the silver industry to be together as a one voice, because the what I see in this space is, who knows whether it's criminal or not. I don't even want to go down that path, or whether it's manipulation or whether it's managing your books. We know there's lots of crazy stuff that goes on in the gold and silver markets, and if we can get all the CEOs in one place and talk about it and talk about ways to mitigate that, I think that's important.
I want to ask you about the Fed, because the last time you were on, you were quite critical about the Fed. We see the inflation numbers. They're just getting hotter and hotter here. It almost seems like it's unstoppable. We're speaking right before a Fed decision of a possible 75 basis point hike. Do you think they can rein it in here?
Rein inflation in?
Rein
No,
it in, yeah.
I do not think they can. Unless they go Volckerish and just kill everything. But can you imagine the Fed's going up to 6, 7, 8%? I don't know. I just can't. I can't imagine that's going to happen. I think there's a limit. Call it 3. Who knows? I don't have a crystal ball. But whatever that limit is, the market's going to crash. Even more so it is right now. How we're seeing housing markets. We see prices starting to drop. The economy is in a downturn, yet the Fed is still, reacting to this huge upcycle that we had. So they're always behind the curve, and within, I'm sure, 6 months or so, they'll start cutting again.
How do you feel about how the metal prices are doing against the backdrop when everything else is really tanking here?
the metal prices aren't that bad right now. You know, at $1,800 gold, you know, okay, $21 silver is not fantastic, but it's still better than it was when I put First Majestic together. So, you know, these are reasonable prices that the mining sector can make a profit at. You know, they go up and down with extreme volatility, but the trend is our friend. We know gold prices are going higher, and silver is an industrial metal, so it's going to be affected by much of the negative stuff that's going on in the world with, you know, potential recession and so on and so forth. It'll always get buoyed to some degree with gold because gold's a granddaddy. But I think gold, just the way it's being supported right now, if we don't end, you know, this year with gold at 2,100, I'll be pretty surprised.
You'd be pretty surprised.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going.
And where do you think silver will end, Keith?
You know, I think it's going to lag still. You know, it's going to be likely, well, we hope so. Well, you know, we'll be higher than 2,100, but, you know, like you call it 23 to 26 or something. I'm not expecting silver to really rock and roll for
and I'm sure investors will appreciate the honesty. You're not putting out putting out numbers for the sake of making people happy, basically. Yeah. Keith Neumeyer, let's wish silver a lot of luck, and thank you for joining us. We'll have a lot more great coverage coming to you, so be sure to stay tuned.
So be sure to stay tuned to my channel, Silver Heist. So I've actually had the opportunity to interview Mr. Neumeyer twice in the past year myself. We just heard him say that he sees the Fed not being able to rein in inflation. He has realistic expectations for gold and silver. The trend is our friend with $2,100 gold this year and silver in a conservative projection of $23 to $26 an ounce. If you're buying physical silver, there's many items in stock at First Majestic Silver now, and you can support someone who supports the silver industry. Let us know your thoughts on inflation, future silver and gold prices, and the First Majestic Silver bullion. To support this channel, it's free to subscribe, so please hit that bell notification and the thumbs up. Thanks for watching.